Hi, thank you so much for joining me today. This is Jenny Oya with Nuggets and Things. Ooh, how many of you know sometimes people think that if you're not them, then you're kind of like beneath them, right? We are not expected to be anyone else but ourselves. Many times people miss you, honey. They miss you because of the fact that they don't even see your potential. They don't see your ability. They have no idea what you got invested in you. They have no idea who you are. They look over you because they feel like, maybe you're not adequate enough, intelligent enough, skilled enough, rich enough, light enough, dark enough, right? They're looking at the exterior or what they think. Because a lot of times people judge you based on themselves. They feel as though, this is who I am, especially, those who kind of think so highly of themselves, right? People who think highly of themselves, right? They on this ego trip all the time. you know, they they see material things as their identity, right? They got to drive a certain thing. They got to live in a certain part of town. They got to, own a certain type of, clothing and that qualifies them as being above someone else, right? I remember I moved, not moved. I was visiting out in Arizona, and there were people who actually had houses in the mountains. I ain't talking about on a mountain. In it, they had their house, pushed into the mountain. So they made their house around a mountain. The mountain was here, and they was inside of the mountain. You're like multi-million-dollar homes in a mountain, so they can look down on everybody else. We rode through that little place, honey, and I looked up there. I said, "Ooh, egos, right?" Somebody think living up in the mountain. Sometimes, people they got memories going on, but nonetheless, here we go. They live in these mountains, right? And I'm not talking about, like, West Virginia and different places. I'm talking about actually, they are really encased in the mountains, right? And so they got to have their houses and all this iron, to stabilize the house in case there's a tremble. It won't, tear up their house. Multi-million dollar houses in the mountain. Why? Why? Because somebody thinks they can look down on all the little peons, the little people, you know. But and that's just a physical example. But we got people also, around us every day that think, that they really are above you. And they talk to you as if they're talking down to you because that you miss people. You're missing people who are qualified to even do your job. But you never know it because you think, what? You're above them. I remember, oh gosh, probably 30 years ago. Yes, about 30 years ago. I worked for someone who owned a company. And, I worked hard and paying attention to who she was. I watched her every single day. I saw how she ran her company. I was the office manager, so I just watched her. And one day she took a leave of absence and was supposed to be a couple of weeks. Instead, it ended up being a few months. Those months that she was gone, I ran her office like her. Not like I would have ran it, but like her. She had this business for over 20 some years. So she was successful at it. So all I had to do was watch what she did. So when she left, I thought she was going to be gone a couple of weeks, ended up for months, but I ran her business. When she came back, she called me in the office. She said, "Jen, I need you to come in the office so we can go over some things so we can get ready for an event." I said, "Okay." I went in with my pen and paper. And she says, "Okay, I need to take care of this." I said, "It's already done." She says, "I need to have letters sent out for this." I said, "It's already done." She said, "I need to meet the press so we can do that." I said, "That's already done." And she started naming things, right? And everything she was naming, I already took I already took care of it, right? It was already taken care of. And she was looking at me and she says, how did you know to do that? I said, because the years that I worked with you, I paid attention to everything you did. So you wasn't watching me because you didn't think you had to, but I was watching you because I knew one day you would need me. Here I am. Isn't it amazing? You know, sometimes people overlook you because they think they're above you. The ego tripping. Not knowing, see, sometimes people, they're just so funny sometimes. They talk to you sometimes like, oh, well, I have these degrees, right? I said, degrees, let me see, I don't want nobody to get offended, The degrees, kind of man-made things. They're man-made, right? But guess what you can do? The man that made those degrees, who put those classes together, learned something from somebody else. I know many people who have no degrees, but have the ability to scholar anybody. They got it down pat. Geniuses. I got a young man, about 20-some years old, can probably outsmart a whole lot of folks who've been all over the world and think they got it, down pat. And I'm talking about he's a scholar. He knows things. I say it to say this. Don't ever get to a place that you think you're so high that you don't need those that are around you, because the ones that are around you may be the ones you need to get you where you need to go. Right? You walking over, the person because they just a chauffeur. They just, keep the building clean. But you don't know what skills they have. If you're ever in a crisis, you never know what kind of skills that person possessed that might can save your very life. Right? Be kind to people. Be kind to people. Don't underestimate folks. I know a lot of folks I have talked to and know things, honey. And they didn't go to school for it. I was on a trip over the weekend with my sisters. Oh, I so loved it. And we talked about our mama, And back during that time, a lot of, parents did not finish school because they had to work. But the skills she had, we had wished we had sat at her table and learned how to preserve the can, the soul, all the things that she did. If we could have just taken advantage of someone who had $1 million, company, ability, enterprise, just for her skills. And if we had taken advantage of it, we could have been further than where we are today. And there's so much needed today to know the things that she was doing. But we didn't think it was necessary. We just waited until she finished preserving and canning and so forth. And we just came and, ate off of, the land. But the things that we wish we had taken advantage of by those who had abilities and skills that we need today. Because we all know that some of those things are needed today. Right? Gather information, honey, from people who are willing to give it to you for free. For free. Because there's some people out here, honey, that you may walk past, walk around, and maybe even try to walk over, who got what you need to get you to the next place you need to be into. And especially during this time right here. Somebody said we may not even get to the election because of the climate. Things that's going on right now. Isn't it amazing? Think about this. Who releases people, these criminals, from out of prisons in another country, and they get a chance to come into our country and almost take over? And then let another set of people come in and cause destruction in another area. It becomes like a cancer. It's starting to eat up and infest the USA, the number one country of the world. I wonder what degrees is going to help in that situation. Or do we need people who are going to be skilled and can help us and direct us what we need to know? Amazing, isn't it? Isn't it amazing? It should be. Think about that. Think about the people that you know and what they can help you with during this time. You know, they probably could have called us right now. We're in a crisis, but they would alert people, get people nervous, anxiety levels. You know, just think about that, right? Never underestimate those who you may need down the road. Do not skip those who have the ability to get you out of a crisis, out of a hardship, out of a bad time. And never think you're better than anyone because it's always somebody who knows more than you. Just my thoughts. You have a fabulous day. Let your light forever shine. Be awesome in everything that you do. And know this, there's nothing that will come upon us that we have not been given an opportunity and the ability to overcome. Nothing. Nothing. You have a fabulous day. Much love to you. Jenny Oya, Nuggets and Things. Thank you so much. Blessings.